there is actually something on the trunk of this tree, and that's why I'm leaning up against it. It's not just for me to prop myself up. The moth that is pretty well camouflaged on this tree is an interesting species, and it's a species that confuses so many people, and it confuses them year after year after year. If you're on any internet groups or any form of social media, this moth here is probably the most requested species annually. It's Diurnea fagella. It's a size problem that causes the problem, so to speak, or at least causes and leads to ultimate confusion with many people, especially those new to moth trapping. But this is a moth that you'll see very commonly in woodland during the day, usually at rest 4 to 5 feet up an oak trunk, such as this one. This is red oak, if you're confused about the bark. But as I mentioned, it's the size that matters here. Because its 15mm length makes it seem a large species to many people, and in terms of micro moths, I suppose it is. But there are larger micro moths than Diurnea fagella, and there are smaller macro moths than Diurnea fagella, and therein lies the problem. People expect the micro moths to be really, really tiny things, when as a matter of fact many aren't. Some are quite large, and many of the Pyralidae are as large as some of our Geometridae, without trying to make it too complicated. And so people look through their macro moth books to try and find this species. They can't find it, so they resort to social media and plonk an ID request. Every year there are many requests for this moth to be identified, and if you are new to moth trapping, this is one moth that you need to learn, and you should learn. They are very attractively marked, and they vary as well. Some specimens can be pretty much black with just a hint of a cross line across the wings, and others vary from that almost black through to grey and a lighter grey, and then almost white as a background coloration to the wings, and the wings are adorned with various sort of flecks and black marks. It's a very attractive moth. Only the male can fly. The male is fully winged. The females are rather differently shaped, and many people often find in females, which can be found usually in the afternoon fairly low down on the trunks of oaks once they've emerged from the pupa, can appear most unmoth-like. They have wings that pretty much cover the body and taper the body, so it produces a very unmoth-like shape. If you've seen female winter moths and the like, female Diurnea fagellas are nothing like those, but they're equally as attractively marked, but the wings just aren't large enough to fly, so the females will, once mated, will crawl up and lay their eggs. I think oak is the dominant food plant. But it's a very common species in woodland, but you will get it in urban gardens. I've had it at home several times, and it can occur in really good numbers. So it's an easy moth to learn. If you go into your local woodland, you're highly likely to see this moth on the trunks of trees. They're usually anywhere up to 4 or 5 feet. So, something for you to do at the weekend.